Hi everyone, this is Solitary Cloud, and I want to give you my week one OP05 format, Queen deck. I want to give you the deck list for that and tell you guys how to play it. I think this deck is insane. I've been playing it for this past week at locals, and it's been doing really well. It's insane. People I'm playing against are asking for a deck list. They think it's insane. Most common comment I get afterwards is like, "Dude, I want to play Queen now." you know. So let me go ahead and show you guys the deck list and show you how to play. It's the best control deck I've seen. So let's give it a try. Let's dive right into it. So I'm gonna start with the leader ability. It needs one Dawn, so you have to have one Dawn attached. When Queen attacks, if your hand and life total, the cards in hand and the number of life you have is 4 or less, you get to draw one card. But if you have a cost 8 or higher character, you can, instead of drawing one card, you can put that one card at the top of your life, so you can heal one, right? So that's the bread and butter of this Queen deck. You're going to be using this life ability to keep yourself from dying and to give yourself more resources so that in the long run, you're going to gas out your opponent. This plays like an Enel deck. You're going to be going to time, right? Because it's just so hard to kill it. It keeps getting more resources and more cards, right? Let's go more into it. So for me, I want to start with the triggers. Let's just start with the yellow part of this deck, right? Blue yellow is a great thing because the blue is the control side of it. The yellow is the triggers that keeps you from dying. So you're gonna start with the bread and butter. It's 4 Brulees. Brule is just a no cost blocker that comes out of life, right? Trigger, play this card. Boom. You can even play. You have a few in your hand. You could play it. You could drop it for 1k counter. But it's so good. You actually run the blue version of it, and you run 4 of it too. So you run Hancock. So you have 8 of these 3 costs trigger out of life blockers, and it's insane. And they're gonna pop out so consistently for you, more consistent than like a Kata deck or anything else, because you're gonna be putting them in your life with your blockers that let you stack your deck. We're gonna see, but let's finish out the triggers. You're gonna run 4 Sanjis. It's good for lowering your hand counts. You can start using your ability. It's a 4, comes out for free. Just one card in your hand, but you'll be getting those cards back, right? So it's Dawn. It's a Dawnless move. If it triggers, you can also just drop it for Dawn 5k blocker. It's pretty good. And then the last trigger you're gonna have is gonna be Capone. You run 4 Capones. It's a 2k counter, which is amazing. But then it's also like a true block, right? It sucks because maybe they don't put the Dawn on those creatures yet, but by the time it blocks, but it does block something. Instead of a big creature, it's just sitting there, boom, it's blocked. You're good, All right, so those are our triggers. And then now we're going to go over the 2k counters because we started with the Capone Beige. That's one of them. The other you're going to run is you're going to run 4 Kayas. Kaya's just a solid counter. It's a one cost. So if your hand's kind of stuck, you can't proc your ability, you could drop 1 Kaya. You go down 1 count, you fix your hand a little bit, then you drop a Kata for 8. And then boom, one on Queen, so you get your heal ability off, right? So Kaya is a good fix. If not, it's a 2k counter. I personally run 10 2k counters. So the last 2, it could be Garp. Sorry. It could be Garp. Most people run Garp, but I'm actually experimenting with Sasaki right now. So I run 1 Sasaki, 1 Garp. I think I might end up running 2 Sasaki. I'm just testing them out. I think Sasaki's better. Their abilities are a little bit different, so maybe Garp's is better at a late game situation. Sasaki's ability is better early game. If you get like you draw a hand that's like this whole hand is unplayable. Boom, Sasaki can fix that, right? But what I like about Sasaki over it is it has 4k attack over 3k attack for Garp, and that might decide game. So I'm thinking about switching over to 2 Sasakis. Next, so those are our 2k counters. We run 10. I run 1 ulti. I was running 2, but I think 1 is good. You could even run none, but it's a good 4 drop. Early game you drop it, replaces itself, right? You have more counters. You can stack your deck. Late game you could add 1 2k counter to hand, put that one of these triggers into your life, right? And then you could play it with like a blocker, right? So it's a very solid card. It's a very solid card early and late. So I'm gonna run 1. We're not running more because we're just scared of clogging our hand and not getting our hero ability off, but it is what it is. Okay, after that, we're going to go into the bread and butter, the blockers now. So it starts with Doflamingo. Boom, here he is. So really, the engine of this deck is the Brules, the Hancocks, and you're putting them into your life with this effect. Doflamingo is a blocker, 3 costs. On play, look at top 5 cards of your deck and return them to the top or bottom of the deck in any order, right? So you look at 5, oh, you see some triggers, put them there when you know you're going to heal, and you just stick them into your life. So you're literally choosing what you're going to have in your life, right? Everything sucks, put it on the bottom, you'll find something eventually, right? On top of being a blocker, right? And blockers keep you alive longer, so you can keep using your effect. But we like Doflamingo so much, we actually run 4 more. And we run this card. It's a new card from OP05. I run 4 X-Drakes. Solid is a 5/6 blocker. Same exact effect as Doflamingo. Look at the top 5 cards from your deck and place them in any order. Boom. You get to keep stacking your life, right? And what's OP about these cards is like they combo. You have like 1 turn, you drop X-Drake, you drop Sanji, you have 1 Dawn left, you use your Queen heal. You could drop you could drop X-Drake, you drop Doflamingo, it's stacked twice, right? Maybe the first 5 suck. Boom, drop this, find something better, put it in your life, right? You could play X-Drake and ulti, like you could play X-Drake in one of these blockers, right? So every turn you're going to be dropping a big monster, you're going to be dropping 2 blockers and putting 1 trigger into your life. That's your late game turns in a nutshell. To round out our blockers, I run 1 law currently. I think you could run 2, but I'm trying to work on late game. Law can clog your hand. You get stuck in hand sometimes, and it just prevents stuff. So I'm just running 1 law for now, and he's getting popped by Sakazuki decks, right? 1 cost, so for free. So we're lowering the amount of laws for now. Okay, so after blockers, let's see. After blockers, I think. Oh, we need to do our removals. So this is the control part of this deck. I think the first one is 3,000 worlds. I run 3,000 worlds currently. You could run 2. It can go dead, right? Maybe your opponent's only playing high monsters. You got like 3,000 worlds in hand. You got to burn them on nothing, which I have found out. If there's no target, you can cast the spell. It just won't do anything, which is great, but it's a waste, right? So 3,000 worlds. I currently run 3 Gadatsus. Gadatsu, I found when it works, it's a winning move. Like that turn, 5 Dawn turn, if you drop it and you KO a 4 Dawn, like a 4 cost monster, you win the game because you just took out one of their big monsters for free, and now you have a 6k body that's swinging and putting pressure on them. It's such a tempo advantage that it really makes a lot of space for you to carry on and win the game. So we're running this at 3, and then what we're doing with this is late game, whatever, it's a counter. That's it. There's still chances where it blows up a blocker or something, and you could drop it for a 6k body also, but it is what it is. And our last removal is going to be one of my favorite cards. It's Red Rock. We run 4 of Red Rocks. This is your ultimate answer. You're removing everything in this deck with, Gitatsu's 3,000 worlds and our boss monsters. The ones you can't remove, you're going to Red Rock. And it's just amazing, right? You can deal with any monster in the game. It's amazing, except for now. But hey, they lose a life. Okay. I'm going to move on to the boss monsters now. So we start with, I run 1 John Giant. He's an 8, procs your leader ability, 10k attack, that's cool, 1k counter. So I run 1 just for consistency's sake. So we can find more boss monsters. And if we have too many boss monsters, you can drop him for counter. Nothing crazy to say about him. Next, we run 3 Katakuris. Whoops, 3 Katakuris. I can see running 4, but Katakuri is just so amazing. He can hit up to a cost 8, right? So my favorite move in the game is the Katakuri. Put it at bottom life. When you go for lethal, that Katakuri is useless, right? Like there's no counter power on it. They're not gonna have time to play that Katakuri. It's amazing. So 3 Katakuris, maybe 4. Next, I currently run 2 Mihawks. So Mihawk, it's like Katakuri, better removal, right? Because that you don't heal them 1 life, but it only hits a 7. Has more attack at 9k. So I run 2 just in case you're clogging, right? If you have a hand of 2 or 3 Mihawks, you're only gonna really hit 1 or 2 monsters, right? So it feels like a waste. And then the boss monster of this deck is Yamato. You run 4 Yamatos, and that makes 50 cards. But Yamato is the strongest boss monster in this deck. She has great synergy with Queen. The strongest play you can make with like the most cards in hand. So this is like the range for her, like full power thing, because you don't need to use both her abilities. But the range for it is if you have 3 cards in hand, including Yamato, right? So maybe you have like 2 red rocks and a Yamato, and you have 1 life, right? You play the Yamato for 9 Dawn. You have 1 life. Your opponent has like, I don't know, 1 to 4 life, right? You pop something, 1 to 5 cost, right? Preferably blocker or some monster that they're gonna hit you with. So she'll remove 1 thing off the board. She'll heal you 1, so you go up to 2. But then now you have 2 life, 2 cards in hand, right? You put your 1 remaining Dawn on Queen, and look, 2 life, 2 cards in hand. That's 4. You attack with Queen. You're now at 3 life, 2 cards in hand. Yamato on field. You blew something up. Like, that's amazing. It's such a strong swing. It's really good. So that's the deck. It's been very consistent. I've won some locals with it. I've been doing really well everywhere. So yeah, that's the deck. Things combo off each other. If so, late game. Early game, you're just gonna play what you can, right? You're gonna drop some blockers. You're gonna swing a Queen to take off some monsters. When you can kill a creature, you're gonna kill a creature. You're playing the slow game. You're trying to make it harder for them to kill you, and then over time they'll run out of gas, and you'll kill them, right? And when you win, their board will have almost nothing, and you'll have 3 to 4 boss monsters out, and you just go swing, 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 and they'll be game. It takes forever to get there, but you do get there. So it's really fun. Late game, you're going to either be playing a boss monster and healing each turn, or if you don't, you're going to be playing a combo of the other cards, right? You're going to drop an X-Drake, stack your heal so you know what it is. Well, with that, maybe you'll play an ulti, right? Maybe you'll play a Sanji blocker, right? And that's 9. So you want to make a combo of 9 so you can still heal, right? You're manipulating your hand and cards, so optimally, you're either dropping a boss monster or 2 blockers and a stacked life trigger. That is your goal with this deck. And you just control their monsters, kill everything, and eventually you just overwhelm them with your you have a couple boss monsters out, they have nothing, and you just start attacking for game. But it does take a long time. You'll be going to time, or very close to time, very often. So I just started playing this deck. It's new to me, right? I didn't play Queen in OP04, so I'm not too sure about the matchups. I do think one of the worst matchups you could get is probably Whitebeard. Whitebeard's hard. He has so many cards, and the 9-drop Whitebeard, which he runs 4 of, dodges all your boss monsters, right? So all your boss monsters are useless. Mihawk and Katakuri is not going to be taking them out, right? So your only option is a Red Rocket, but when this is hard. And then if you don't Red Rocket, he's going to start blowing up all your blockers, and it's just a hard time. Purple Luffy has Kaido. Kaido, same thing, comes out, blows up one of your blockers, gets the rush attack. But if you can Red Rocket, maybe it's not enough damage done, but if they drop a couple Kaidos, it can be hard. Yeah, so definitely any deck that's dropping a bunch of 9 or 10 drops can get tough. I think Katakuri is not too bad just because the big moms, you could just block them or you can remove them, right? So after the big moms drop, she's done her damage. You're just gonna use a blocker on her. She doesn't blow up a blocker, so it's not too bad. But yeah, so I think the worst matchup might be Whitebeard. I did lose to Sakazuki recently. So this deck's first loss at locals was to Sakazuki. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like I had kind of a bad hand and the Sakazuki had nuts. I think this deck can beat Sakazuki, but I might be wrong. Maybe, I've been seeing some deck lists of Sakazuki where they're building higher, taller, right? Like more removal. People are running more Borsalinos, more Ice Ages. So if they're running one of those variants, I think that will clean this deck up also. So I think those are probably the worst matchups. What I like about this Queen deck, though, is outside of that, I think Queen can handle anything. Zoro seems a little scary, but you have tools to deal with it, right? In Gadatsu, through your healing, through your triggers, right? To live. 3,000 worlds. So you have all these tools to live long enough, and then you get to late game, you start blowing up their stuff with Yamato and healing, and it just feels like it's too much for the Zoro to deal with. You just gotta survive. But that's about it. That's the deck. That's the matchup. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments. If you have any suggestions, I'm a new player, so if you have any tips or tricks, just go ahead and hit me up. But this is probably gonna be the deck that I played throughout OP05. And actually, I was talking to someone last night, one of the locals. They're saying in OP06 I can run the new Sanji, and yeah, actually this deck can run the new Sanji. So I'll be trying this deck out in OP06 later too. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.